What's going on, you guys? Back with another video. This is a video request by Conita Johnson, and I want to talk about something that happens in the workplace dealing with narcissists, but not so much between co-workers. And it also happens in like the school system in the workplace. I haven't talked enough about what, my experience dealing with co-workers. But this has more to do with parents, like narcissistic parents, people that, have this sense of entitlement, a certain group of people um, who comes to the school and demands that, you handle their children a certain way when it comes to discipline. And how they kind of know that they got the upper hand on calling shots, from home when it comes to their children misbehaving and, telling the teachers that, well, we don't teach our children that at home. We don't discipline that way at home. Like completely stepping out of line and doing stuff that they know is going to cause confusion between parents and teachers. I feel like that this isn't talked about enough when it comes to the school system. Now, I have never experienced like seeing something like that, but I know what it looks like. But I haven't experienced it because I'm not a teacher. I work in a child nutrition program. But I understand how they have these people that just think that they can come, to the school and call the shots. Now, at the schools that I deal with, that I work at, there's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of fighting amongst students, and that's been a huge problem with disciplinary issues. But when it comes to the parents in the area where I work, the school district that I work in, which is predominantly black, not saying one thing or other, I'm just saying, these parents, they approach the school in a way where they want to fight the teachers and fight the administrators, the dean of students, because they feel like you are handling my child wrong when it comes to discipline. And it's like, obviously, you're not doing something right at home in order for them to bring this behavior to school. Like, this is a school. If you're not coming here to learn and behave and be respectful, then you shouldn't be here. And you see, a lot of that comes from home. Just like with those narcissistic parents, the entitled ones, they want to come to the schools. A lot of people call them Karens. It starts from home. To me, everything starts from the upbringing, whether it was by, paternal parents, or adopted parents. Whatever the upbringing is, it's gonna follow you. Even of course, at the school age, into school, to where their child is disruptive, and it becomes a problem when people feel like, that they have this place with this place with like the school system itself, to where not only that your voice can be heard, but you pretty much calling the shots when it comes to the teachers doing their job. And to me, if you feel that you can do a better job at disciplining your child when you just, give them a simple command as of you should have a seat, then you should keep them home. Because maybe your child is not behaving the way they do at school, the way they do at home. Or maybe y'all communication, of course, is going to be different because you're the parent and that's the teacher who's disciplining them. And they don't have to stoop down to their level and be their friend and all that type of stuff. The school is not the place where that starts at. If that's the type of relationship you have at home with your child, then, then it be that way. But don't expect for a teacher to just bow down to the commands of the way you teach your children at home. to do that the same way in the school system, because that's not the way it's supposed to work. I always taught my children, you should, first of all, respect and obey when you go to school. And if there's a issue that you're having, don't just hold it in and lash out, and let it become a part of this, just like disruptive behavior, outbursts and stuff like that. You got me to come home and talk to about it. And we're gonna deal with it the way, accordingly. But some people, they don't raise their children. Everybody raise their children different. And so it's like, that's just something that you have to expect to see when you're dealing in the school system. Just this sense of entitlement from parents, whether it be the rowdy parents coming up on the campus. Like today, there have been so many fights, and like, they don't really say gang fights no more, because they're not really gangs anymore. Not downhill. It's crowds. It's like crowds. This person got crowd. Like students. It's just so many fights been going on for the last 2 weeks. So the discipline centers are at capacity. And the discipline centers is where the student is placed during suspension. They're at capacity till now you can't even send them to a center anymore. They have to do the in-school suspension, which they already have in school suspension, but this is like extended in-school suspension for the ones who are, partaking in fights and just being, just horrible in class, to the point where the teacher can't teach the other students because they're so disruptive. They need attention, and disrespectful, and the teacher is just like, no tolerance, I'm not dealing with it. And they put them out. So they even disrupt the in-school suspension. Like, it's been horrible the last 2 weeks. And so yesterday we were on partial lockdown, because when these kids are fighting, sometimes they call people outside of the campus. Some people, they call their family members. I'm going to call my mama, my daddy, my sister, brother, cousins, and they want to come on campus. And then it's just a big old thing. And we have to take, precautionary measures to protect ourselves, the teacher, staff, and us, the support system, support staff, so that we won't be in harm's way. And we're at work. Like, I didn't wake up this morning thinking that we have to go to work and be on lockdown, to where, you're stuck inside. And I mean, there was so many fights since Monday, like 5 big fights. Tuesday, 6 big fights. Wednesday, 7, 8 big fights. Yesterday, it was a lot of fights. And you can see the numbers going down with enrollment. With attendance, because of how many of them have been sent home, probably for expulsion. They're probably just not coming back. And the ones who are not going to just don't want to do the in-school suspension, well, you go home then. Because a lot of them, their parents are going to be on their side, and you don't even have both sides of the story. I never put my kids on a pedestal and look at them as they just don't do no harm. Never say what your child won't do. Never say what your child won't get involved in. But a lot of that starts from home. I thank God that I didn't have that problem. I didn't have to deal with something like that, and I sympathize with a lot of these kids because they lost. And it's the upbringing. It's all about the upbringing. But the fights were so terrible today, till the lockdown was like a strict lockdown, to where even us in the loading area by the kitchen had to lock down, and the deliveries couldn't even come in and out. They had to call, just to kind of give us heads up that they're on the way and stuff like that. And it's just ridiculous that we have to operate like that in the workplace, because of wherever this behavior stemmed from. And when that happened, the children were, I guess, calling people from home to come up to the schools, and the campus was surrounded by people, and it was like the purge. It was so crazy. I'm like, I'm not, look, I'll take off a couple of days next week, because I'm not going to be dealing with this here. I text my kids and told them, look, with my children, I text them and told them we on strict lockdown. And they got people surrounding the school from all these fights they've been having. You know, family members. We don't know if them people got guns on them or whatever. And they was like yanking on the doors. It's just crazy today. But I know I got way off subject from what this video request was about. It's about that entitlement from parents and how they want you to teach their children a certain way and discipline their children the way we do at home. No, this is a workplace and this is a school setting. You know, your child comes here to get an education, and not all teachers are perfect. But at the same time, like, if you're feeling that your child is being disciplined, you know, like it's a misconduct with the way they're being disciplined, it's still a way to deal with things. It's a way to approach the situation, but not to the point where you tell a teacher, you know, you feel like you put yourself in that place to where, you know, you got the nerve to tell a teacher how to discipline your child. You know, that's when you really stepping out of line. You way out of order with that. And it's sad that a lot of the school boards, they're curving a lot of things from how it was back in the days to now. They just let parents pretty much just have their way. And just, this is just my opinion. You know, if it got to be all that, if it's such a huge issue how your child is disciplined at school, keep them at home and teach them yourself. You know, because people don't have time to deal with that, and they're already dealing with other stuff, you know, and they have to, you know, focus on the lesson plan, the students, the assignments, the tests, and just other different things, to just be focused on this one child. This one child does not deserve special attention. And that just kind of goes to show that a lot of these children comes from narcissistic parents, you know, and they just want to come into everywhere and just change the way the structure is, you know, based off how they do things at home. Well, you're not at home. And if you want your child to be handled a certain way, then you need to keep them at home and handle them that way, you know, accordingly to what you feel is right. So that's pretty much what this video was all about. Like, you know, pretty much just entitlement when it comes to parents dealing with teachers in school. So thank y'all for watching. Leave your thoughts down below. It's the weekend. It's been a long week. And I'm just going to go in and just unwind and relax. I can't even say what my next move going to be because I just need to relax at this point. It's been a long week. So thank y'all for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.